观众朋友晚安，我是于书木，欢迎收看ITA看世界，一起看世界。早期原住民族在主流电视媒体所呈现的形象，多半遭到污名化。各国原住民族为了争取发声机会，一直以来不断努力，建立属于原住民族的电视台。接下来这段访谈，很荣幸的访问到世界原住民广电联盟 WEBN 的成员，一起来分享各国原民台成立的宗旨及经营广电媒体的历程与经验。今天讨论的题目是原住民族电视台在自己国家扮演何种重要角色。我们很荣幸能够邀请到国际间原住民电视媒体前辈们。首先是台湾原住民族文化事业基金会的董事长马拉奥斯。
aku kaya kamu, Shimaraosku, aku kaya kamu Kakte Ducinai。我是原住民族文化事业基金会原民台的董事长，非常高兴，谢谢。
再来是纽西兰毛利电视台董事长 Jamie Tuta。Tēnā
koutou e te motu e te ao, e mihi nui, e mihi aroha ki a koutou。
以及 APTN 加拿大原住民族电视网的执行长 Shauna
Rose。Welcome everyone, happy to be here amongst you。
还有 APTN 未来的执行长 Monica
Ile。Koi, I'm very, very thrilled to be with you here today。
而在我身边的是今天将和我一起进行访问的艾莲娜。
Hello, it's great to be here。
好，那讨论的一开始呢，今天的题目我们很想要首先请问马拉奥斯董事长，您在台湾原民界也算是资深的媒体人了。那就你的角度来看，当初国家为何需要成立原住民族电视台呢？那成立至今，你觉得它又扮演了何种重要的角色？
对，过去原住民族在台湾，尤其是在媒体的环境里面，我们过去有长期被忽视，甚至被刻板印象的经历跟过程。那这随着台湾的民主化，在多元文化的促成下，越来越确认，就是原住民应该有自己的媒体。那从自己的媒体去诠释自己，去认识自己，去传播自己。那这几年来原住民的传播广电的这个环境有了很大的突破。原先有原住民族电视台成立，那之后在这几年也成立了原住民族广播的电台。那包括文化事业共同推动，包括近期也在推动的族语的很大的工程。那我是觉得在这样的环境下，因为政府的体认，也是整个原住民的需求，在包括台湾文化不能够缺少原住民文化，所以原住民族的广电的媒体，原住民的文化事业。在现今的台湾乃至于全世界是一个重要的一个平台因此我们这一次签订 MOU， 然后呢，我们跟加拿大 APTN， 我们跟毛利的电视台我们共同再继续往下扎根我们的这个媒体的合作。那我觉得在未来会有更好的环境，能够让台湾原住民族的媒体、文化、艺术、语言跟国际接轨。那这次有很好的成果，就像一个小米田，我们辛苦栽种以后，好不容易接下来有一个很好的成果。是。
So to start, we'd like to ask you to talk a little bit about the origins of your Indigenous television stations. So what is the significance of your stations for the Indigenous communities and audiences you serve? And what is the role of your stations on a national level? Jamie, let's start with you.
Māori television was born out of protest, was born out of struggle. It was the result of a number of leaders within Māoridom during the 70s wanting to regain our place, our space, our language and our voice. And so Māori television was the result of that movement. The determination to have a television station that was run by Māori, to be a voice for Māori, to speak on behalf of Māori and to see things through the Māori eyes and through the Māori voice. And so Māori television, when it was born in 2004, was another historic moment for Māoridom because one, it acknowledged the place that we have within our country. Two, it provided a further opportunity for us to be put in a position to be able to transmit our language. And thirdly, it created a huge amount of excitement, a huge amount of inspiration that our people were able to coalesce around to drive this movement called Māori television. So it's played a very significant role over the last 15 years and has a very important role in the future. One, around our language and our culture, the Māori language and culture, but more importantly about the contribution it can make to creating New Zealand's national identity. And the thing that separates New Zealand from the rest of the world is our indigenous culture, our language, our culture and our customs. And so born out of struggle, born out of protest, and it has flourished. And we're very grateful for that, but also recognise that there is a lot more to do because we've come too far not to go further.
Thank you.
I think the history of APTN is quite similar to Māori TV. It's similar to what TITV is doing here. Until 1999, Indigenous peoples in Canada had no voice. We were invisible on television. The only time Canadians would see us on television is if we were protesting some government measures that were targeting our community. If we were being marginalized and we're trying to get a voice, we would only make the news at that point. We'd only be the subject of news coverage that was often very negative, very slanted. The perception that it was giving Canadians about our communities was totally wrong. And we needed to have the opportunity, as Jamie has said, to have our own voice, to tell our own stories, but from our own perspective. And that's what's still missing in mainstream Canada today with mainstream media is quite often the stories they tell of us are through a lens that is not ours. And it unfortunately distorts often the reality behind the issue we're facing. So having APTN and growing APTN into an opportunity for Indigenous producers to create programming that was by, for, and about us, but also spoke to the issues that are important to us as opposed to the issues that others may think are important to us, made a huge difference. And we've gone from roughly 6 producers when we launched in 1999 to over 100 now. And they provide us, our communities, our peoples with the range of programming, the full range of programming. And it's also given our communities a sense of pride in knowing that they have an entity, a broadcaster, that reflects them for who they really are. And that's what's made a huge difference in Canada from the APTN's perspective.
那继续呢，我想继续请教各位，那尤其是像请教马老师董事长，因为在台湾，毕竟原住民族媒体啊，它在台湾大众社会并不算主流媒体，所以我们原民台在成立的过程一直到现在，它有碰到哪些困难跟挑战呢？那它又有没有被顺利的被解决？
我刚也是听其他的台共同分享在原住民广电媒体建立的困难跟成绩。那刚才主持人所提到的这个问题，确实是我们在营运一段时间原住民的广电的这个事业必须要去面对的。那首先就是我们可以看到在国家的媒体资源上面，我觉得还需要再解决一件事情，就是原住民族的广电的事业其实需要均等的跟其他的，比如说公共频道、公共电视、客家电视这些族群频道或是公共频道的资源不对等的状况。那比如说在公共电视的预算，那其实是高出我们原文会的广电媒体非常大的预算的落差。那所以应该在未来在思考国家媒体的资源分配的时候，应该在增加原住民广电媒体的预算跟资源，因为并不会因为你的族群跟文化的影响力的大小 就会影响到你的预算的比例。那每一个电视台它都有一定的制作成本、一定的人事费，所以目前来看，我们应该要呼吁国家应该把我们的预算规模跟公共电视、公共频道做更均等的分配，应该增加原文会的广电媒体的资源。那第二个就是，我觉得接下来原住民广电媒体要做的是，我们的人才的训练。所以在未来，我们都把思考点放在原住民的节目的制播，但其实人才的训练跟培训是一个非常重要的提升广电媒体素质的一个主要的基准。所以在毫无疑问的原住民媒体人才的培训是必须要做的。那另外一个是我们在国际连结，尤其是跟其他的电视台。WIBN 就是 WTBN、WTBC， 我们这些国际媒体的合作的过程，其实我们需要更多的人才跟资源，是语言的能力，英文国际语言的能力，制作的这种成本的提高，以扩大台湾原住民族广电媒体的影响力，让台湾过去整个太平洋是把台湾当作是。整个南岛语系的这个起跑点，几乎都确定，所有的南岛语系都从台湾扩散出去。那我们就应该扮演出一个角色，是世界原住民电视台的一个角色，就是我们应该把台湾原住民作为南岛原乡这个影响力扩展出去。我不敢讲是原住民世界原住民的 CNN， 但是我们其实可以做一个很好的沟通桥梁，提供资源。提供更好的国际连接，我是觉得这是未来原住民族文化事业基金会的广电媒体必须要做的。
是，那刚刚也有提到说，其实我们的预算是必须看有没有办法去争取到说是跟别的台是有到平等的。是，那这个部分你觉得我们预算的一个独立性有需要再做改善吗？
是，我觉得这是一个在原住民广电媒体创台以后要去继续精致化的。就是我们其实看起来，我们已经运作，然后很顺利的产制了我们的节目跟新闻，是跟其他的这个文化事业的补助。但实际上，我们再去细分我们的整个媒体资源的时候，其实我们跟公共电视跟其他台的预算的资源其实是不太足够的，所以应该增加。那第二个是明年度我们也会开始进行原住民文化事业基金会广电媒体的新的总部在桃园，那这个部分的资源以及相关周边的这些搭配，那我们要怎么做？然后呢，又能够再提升原文会广电媒体的影响力，这个都是接下来不管在国会或是我们自己原文会的预备工作。我们应该提出更具体的规划，我再次呼吁，就是我们的预算还是不足，那应该在国会能够在审慎的思考，增加我们在广电媒体、我们在所有媒体的需求上面的需要，这是我的看法。
是，谢谢董事长为我们呼吁。好。
So Madaos was just sharing with us some of the challenges that TITV faces today, such as budget and financial independence. And perhaps budget not being enough for all of the programming that the station puts out. And so, Jamie, could you share with us some of the challenges that Maori TV faces, whether it's some of these same challenges around budget or other things?
So definitely, I think, I guess most Indigenous broadcasters would have similar financial challenges in terms of, the financial capital to be able to develop and produce the content that's relevant and fit for purpose for the audience segments that we are focused on. So certainly budget is one issue for us. One of the other major challenges we have is human capital. So ensuring that we're developing a pipeline of talent and capability to work across and within the broadcasting ecosystem in New Zealand and the Māori broadcasting ecosystem, both within Māori television and also our independent Māori producers. And so there are those two constraints, and so we're always looking at what the opportunities might be to leverage greater revenue and not be so reliant on government. That's challenging. in a modern day world where linear television is under threat from new platforms, from digital platforms and the like. So yeah, we have those challenges. And I guess the other challenge we have is we exist to promote our language and culture. And so it links back to the human capital piece, ensuring that we have capable talent that are strong and secure in their identity, have great language acquisition, and have the technical competencies to be able to produce and tell those stories from our perspective. And so, that is a challenge, and it's going to be an ongoing challenge in how we ensure that we play a role in developing and guiding that talent coming through, and remembering our point of difference and being true to that. Because our point of difference is, as was said, is being able to tell stories through our voices, through our experience, and so, and not be seduced by mainstream sort of broadcasting and media attitudes, and being true to our who we are.
And so, Jean, do you face any of the similar challenges at APTN?
I think we all do. As Indigenous peoples, we're all faced with the same challenges. Quite often, when there's a positive feeling within a given area, we might be given more opportunity, but then if that changes, we go with the ebb and flow. The advantage and disadvantage that we have is that we're not government funded. We get no monies from government. We get monies from the subscribers who subscribe to cable and advertising revenue and sponsorships, partnerships that we've been able to strike either with other broadcasters or corporate entities. The problem with that too is that as people move to online, a lot of them are cutting off their cable, which is impacting our revenue. We're looking at ways now. We've gone online. We've launched our own OTT, our over-the-top service, APTN Lumi. It's a subscriber-based service that allows people to go and watch all of our programming online. They can watch an entire series consecutively, or they can watch whatever they want, when they want. And the goal is to make that service available worldwide within the next 2 years or so. We're also facing the same challenges when it comes to talent. A lot of our people who live in remote communities don't necessarily get exposed to either being a journalist, being a reporter, or the production sector. Many of those communities have basic, very basic services. The only opportunities that they see available to them are working for the band office, the local government, or in the health field, or in the education field. That's pretty well the only positions that they see open to them. So for them to consider being a journalist and traveling all over the country telling stories is outside their scope of vision. So to get those young people, to bring them in, to train them, is a challenge, especially when you bring them into a large urban environment when all they've been exposed to is a small community of 200, 400, maybe 500 people. It's a very, very difficult transition to make, and many of them can't make it. We've offered education support, financial support, bursaries to young people. Some of them haven't been able to complete the first year. It was just too difficult for them to adapt to an urban environment. And then on top of that, well, there's the fact that right now in Canada, there's a concept of reconciling with Indigenous peoples. And a lot of other broadcasters are trying to do something to show that they want to reconcile. And what it does basically is it shares the pie even bigger, because a lot of the talent that we have built up is now being taken by other broadcasters, and often they're not being given the same level of opportunities that they were with APTN, but at the same time they get a different level of exposure, which is not negative, but it makes it difficult for us. We become a pipeline to create talent for others, and that is something we can't sustain unless we had the revenues to do it. So I think in many areas we have the same challenges. What we're looking to do to address these, obviously, is how can we diversify further?
And so, Monica, hearing Jean outline these challenges,
yes.
How do you envision addressing some of these as you step into the role of CEO?
Well, like Jean mentioned, we have to create those partnerships within Canada, but also internationally, and try to find concepts that will fit both our mandate and our visions, even within Canada. And I think the challenge we have in Canada is the fact that we broadcast in several Indigenous languages. We've got very strict conditions of licenses in Canada. We have to broadcast in French and English and in various Indigenous languages. So every broadcast here we do in about 15 different languages, but there's more than 70 plus Indigenous languages in Canada. And we do a variety of programming. So from news, Jean was mentioning, but we do docs, we go children and youth, we do variety, we do drama. We have to do everything. So money is a big issue, but a way to help alleviate that is definitely co-production. And I think it's important as international Indigenous broadcasters to work together to get our stories told, to have this really strong presence in the media landscape.
Thank you.
好，那其实原住民族电视台其实让我们原住民族拥有了自己的媒体权，这样也是让我们可以长久以来去面对到一个问题，就是说，其实国内啊，对我们原住民族普遍都有存在一些刻板印象。那我们要如何用媒体的力量去改变这些负面的印象呢？董事长。
首先我要再补充一下，就是我们这几年的台湾的族语的资源、族语的政策也逐渐走向更成熟的境界。那原住民族文化事业基金会的广电媒体在一边是我们要继续拓展国际的连结市场以外，当然还包括我们在地的语言的这个深化植入到我们的节目跟广播里面、新闻里面。所以刚才主持人所提到的这个部分的刻板印象，我要提个我自己的经验，我们在兰屿，我们几乎跟其他的组一样，我们长期在媒体、画面、新闻。有扭曲的现象，那就是所谓的刻板印象，那也深根蒂固的变成人们在看待我们的这个观点。那原住民族广电媒体建立了以后，不管从早期的原住民新闻杂志，到后来原民台成立，那过去是标案，后来独立建台，那其实有一个很好的环境，就是我们翻转了别人诠释我们这件事情。那从这个角度变成回来，我们诠释自己，然后我们说自己的故事。刚才几位 CEO、董事长都有提到，这个说自己的故事是一个非常非常重要的一件事情。所以我们透过节目、透过新闻透过平面的杂志，我们开始呈现真正的我们。那过去是人家诠释我们，所以这个刻板印象确实是。人类社会最大的障碍，那刻板印象会足以灭绝一个民族，那也因此原住民族的原文会的广电媒体在这个角色上面，我们要做到我刚才提的这几件事，最重要的就是为自己说故事，然后为自己的权利，那找到发言的基石。那所以这是我在今天这个节目里面跟其他3位所共同学到的，就是怎么样认识自己、诠释自己、走向国际。这是未来原文会广电媒体，包括我们的文化艺术的发展非常重要的目标跟使命。
是，谢谢董事长。
So as we were discussing earlier, Indigenous communities around the world face a lot of very negative stereotypes that are often perpetuated by national media. And Indigenous television is this wonderful opportunity to produce news and content and programming from an Indigenous perspective on Indigenous terms. And Maraos was just talking about the importance of telling our own stories, telling Indigenous stories. And so if you could talk a little bit about the way that you use Indigenous media and television to address these negative representations. Maybe we could start with Monica, and let's just do, for the sake of time, let's do a minute for this question.
For sure.
A big question for a minute.
You know, AP10's been on air for 20 years. For sure, when we started, you know, when you take control over your voice, you're telling about your concerns, right? Your preoccupation, your frustrations. But then as you continue and carry on, you bring more of the positive sides, your aspirations, your dreams, where you want to go. And I think AP10 is at a point right now that, yes, we do show sometimes those negative portrayals, but we show that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and there are these great stories, and we've got wonderful storytellers who are able to use this and take the best out of it. And that's so important for the youth, right? It's for the next generation to come to see, well, there's something at the end, it's something positive. And we, as an Indigenous broadcaster, we do it. However, we don't see that in the non-Indigenous broadcasters. They always go for what's sensational, right? What's going to hit the ratings and bring it up. But what's important for us is to be able to tell our stories the way we want to tell them.
The other challenge we face too is that quite often our production sector wants to really focus on the challenges as opposed to the opportunities. And it's been a work in progress to get some of our producers to shift a bit from telling only, as Monica said, some of the challenges we're facing, but also start looking at where are positive things happening, and how can those be shared with other communities who are facing the same struggles. For example, we have communities that have developed, for example, a winery, and the wine is known around the world now, the Nk'Mip wine. So using that story and telling it to others who may not have a winery or the land to grow wine, the grapes, but have other opportunities that they can develop for their own benefit and generate, support for the community, generate opportunities for employment for their citizens or what have you. That's a story that needs to be told as well. And that's the transition we're undergoing right now. Even some of our drama, for example, we have a series called Blackstone for 5 years. And when Blackstone came out the first year, it was very dark, very negative, because people looked at it and said, well, you're perpetuating the stereotypes about us. And we had to tell the audience, wait, it's going to change. And over the course of the 5 years, you saw how the community took itself by its own hands and changed what was happening. They totally changed the conversation. And that's what's important. We have to give our people, especially our young people, we have the highest rate of suicides in Canada. We have to tell our young people there is a future. And here's how we can help you find that future. That's our biggest challenge.
And you also have the series First Contact that does something similar.
First Contact again, and I mean, it's a series that came out of Australia, I believe, which basically put Canadians with very strong stereotypes through the experience of living with First Nations communities and other communities, and other Indigenous communities, Métis or Inuit. And you see their transition over the series for most of them. Some didn't change their perspective. Some were really, it's so ingrained because they've lived with it for their entire lives that they weren't ready to change. But a lot of the younger people who participated in the series saw that what they had been told and what the reality was two different worlds. And that's what needs to happen. This is where we have to take ourselves in charge. We have to tell our people, don't only focus on the negative. There is an opportunity for a better future, but you have to make it happen, and we'll help you get there by telling all of us our stories.
Thank you. Jamie?
Just following on, I think it's just remembering the important role that broadcasting and media plays in our society. So one, to educate, to raise awareness. I think to be able to take a perspective that mainstream would not take. And that's important because that's a process of being able to educate. But at the same time, our challenge is how do we ensure that we're able to retain and be relevant to the audiences that we have. And we have a particular focus on our youth. 50% of Māori are under the age of 25 and 70% under the age of 40. So understanding, yes, we have a goal of being able to tell our stories, to use our television station as inspiration to revitalise our language and culture, but recognising that how do you do that? When there's so much choice that these young people have, and how can we cause them to sort of not only turn the channel on, but over time to sort of look at Māori television when they pick up their phone or their iPad. And so I think it's got to be relevant. What we do needs to inspire our audiences, and we've got to have that point of difference. And that's often challenging when mainstream are telling the negative story. And I'm a big proponent of the possibilities that we have, the opportunity, the many successes. and we've got to continue to do that. And it's what I said earlier. It's the mindset, because we have similar challenges around. You know, a lot of the people who are working for us have come from a mainstream environment, and how we ensure that when they come into the Māori television world, that they are expressing and manifesting the values and the vision and those things that are important that we want to provide to our audiences and to our people, which is not easy. It's not easy.
Thank you.
好，那其实呢，原住民族电视台在国家是作为族人重要的一个发声管道。那所以在最后的时间里，我想请各位可不可以简单的以1分钟的时间，那为我们国家里面的原住民族电视台做一些鼓励呢？
今天真的是一个非常棒的时间，能够跟另外2个国家的频道一起在这边跟台湾的观众见面。一个是 APTN 最资深的国际原住民广电的成员，一个是毛利电视台最有活力的电视台。未来原住民族文化事业基金会的广电媒体，不管是电视跟广播，我们会继续跟世界的原住民的广电的成员伙伴一起共同努力。那我特别要提到，原住民族文化事业基金会广电媒体的伙伴们，我们都知道，这是原住民族社会运动或是原住民内部非常难得获得的一个成果。那国家也认可我们有一个原住民族的广电媒体，所有250位的原住民族电视台、广播电台、原住民文化事业基金会的同仁，我们都珍惜这个资源。所有的同仁都为这个频道广电媒体做更多的事情。接下来我们会在做一件事，就是透过族语扎根，然后把我们的节目触及到更多的原乡，把我们的节目做得更有原住民的本质主体在里面。所以我们希望所有的原乡的或者在都会区的观众能够继续支持我们。最后，我们这几年其实也一直在推动跟其他台湾内部的媒体的合作。是。那也因此，原住民族电视台它的另外一个意义，它不是原住民的而已，它是所有包括汉族的客家、火罗郎包括这个其他的新住民，都应该被融入到我们的节目里面。所以毋庸置疑，我们会继续朝国际品牌迈进，也会朝本土，然后呢推动我们的相关的直播的工作。
是，谢谢董事长。
So for our final question, as we've been discussing, Indigenous television is a really important space for Indigenous voices to be heard. And so I'd like to ask each of you in just a minute to share maybe words of advice or encouragement either to your station or to Indigenous media stations around the world. Jamie?
I think first and foremost, our own Indigenous people need to recognise that we have value, that our narratives, that our stories, that our ways of being and knowing not only have value to us in terms of who we are and who we're able to be, but that's what the globe is looking for. And I've got a view that the future is one where Western democracies need to be inspired by Indigenous values and perspectives. And I'm starting to see that. And so from my perspective, what that means is our role and our functions moving forward are going to become more and more important in terms of the role of Indigenous broadcasting and sharing those stories, those narratives, those experiences, not only for ourselves, but for the world.
What I want to encourage all Indigenous broadcasters is to also look at the situation of some of our brothers and sisters in other parts of the country, in other parts of the world, that don't have the benefit of either a voice or the opportunity to have a voice. And in many cases, we're still being persecuted, if not chased, literally, hunted down. I'm thinking of South America, some countries right now where Indigenous peoples are literally being physically threatened for their lives. And I think it's our role as Indigenous broadcasters. In many ways, we are privileged. We are privileged to have a voice. our brothers and sisters don't. And I think as we keep growing, we have to bring some of them into the fold. We have to be their voice as well, or if not their voice, to give them a place that they can express their voice. And to me, that's the biggest challenge we face, because we can't, as Indigenous peoples, just look at ourselves. We have to look at all of the community around the world. And it's a unique challenge, it's a big challenge, but if we don't take that challenge, nobody else will.
Very nicely said. Giving, sharing, giving them the possibility, giving them their voice. And to go beyond that as well, I think that all us as Indigenous broadcasters, we need to work together is by creating these strengths, and we become a force. I know that APTN in our news department, what we say is we cover news others won't. And there's a reason why, because they just sometimes don't care. But we do care, and those stories need to be told. And I think we need to continue and push that limit in all our storytelling to take those risks. You're not going to please everybody, but that's fine. But you want people to start thinking about Indigenous people. You want them to bring a reflection. So it's to push that level, bring it further, and then being able to appreciate one another becomes a better way of communication. And once you communicate, well, maybe the barriers will start falling. So that's how I see things.
Thank you.
好，那非常谢谢今天几位重要来宾给我们的一些访问跟分享。
Thank you for joining us today and sharing your perspectives.
谢谢。那我们可以了解到，其实原民电视台以原住民族群作为主体，扮演族人发声的重要角色。不过到现在呢，仍有许多困难需要克服。面对困境，国际间的原民媒体能否串联合作呢？其实目前 APTN 毛利电视台和台湾原住民族电视台都属于世界原住民广电联盟 WIBN 的一员。在去年底 ，APTN 和毛利台也分别和台湾原民台签约还有续约了合作备忘录 MOU。下期节目我们将继续带您探讨 WIBN 和签约合作备忘录的重要性。观众朋友，我们先喝口水，休息一下。中国武汉肺炎疫情持续蔓延，导致全球人心惶惶，种族歧视伴随疫情升温，助长了世界各地的排华情绪。大众媒体上出现歧视性言辞，就连其他亚洲面孔也在国外遭人侧目。